welcome back to another episode of Unlocking Your Potential. And today I'm very blessed to have my compadre, or my first mortgage broker at MAD, Mr. Costa Demetriou. Thank you, Costa.
Thank you.
Thank you for
It's pretty
coming.
cool. Nice setup.
It's a great setup, mate. And Costa, tell me, I've known you. How old were you when I first met you?
25.
How old are you now? 30.
31.
So 6 years our journey started.
Yep.
Tell me, Costa, when you first started at MAD, what was your mindset like?
Well, when I started at MAD, I was pretty excited. Obviously, I may have found something that suited my personality because in the lead up to it, obviously all the different places I worked at, all the different work experience places I went to just didn't align with my core values or with my my personality, which is obviously love talking to people and having positive conversations with people. So
Did you go to uni?
went to university, did the whole thing of what we're meant to do, like what we're told through school is, finish school, get the best OP. So I aimed for that, go to uni, just do a course.
What'd you study?
Law and commerce. Had no passion in really the law side of it, but it sounded pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people who don't really know where they belong or what they're good at, they end up just doing a very broad subject. For instance, the commerce or the business side of things, and then, also throwing in law because I happen to get a good OP. And I was like, what's the most elite thing I could do in the eyes of, society? Well, law sounds pretty, special. And it was a 6.5 year course. And through that whole 6.5 years, I was saying like, what the hell am I doing? I do not enjoy this.
Why'd you keep doing it? What do you feel society made you keep, like, I'll be a failure if I didn't do this?
It was more so, I think that's just where society sort of pushed you. Like, you should come out of university, you'll be able to get a good paying job. Also, parents as well saying, you need to finish off your uni degree, because a lot of our parents came, with nothing, or they came from a different country and they were farmers or they were tradespeople, and in their eyes, getting a job in an office is where it's at, where the money's at. Obviously now that mindset is starting to change, but that's just like, no, get a degree, get a good paying job, and you can sit in air conditioning on the computer and you can make good money. So that's where their head was at.
So you finish school, you got a good OP, you think you're doing the right thing, you study 6.5 years, you're not thinking, I love this.
No, I wasn't passionate about it, and you have to be passionate about with anything in life if you actually want to get ahead. When I was talking to, the other students in the law degree, they were passionate. My parents were lawyers. I'm a lawyer. My kids are going to be lawyers. They were talking, legal terms and this and that every time I tried to have a normal conversation with them. And I wasn't that passionate. So that's where I got a little bit lost in terms of, all right, well,
what am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do? So,
how did you find what you were supposed to do?
I was I think the best thing for me was trial and error. So actually going into different, working for different companies and getting the feel or the vibe, or watching people in the workspace. So, of course, during university, working at my dad's company, and also doing shift work as well, like through school, working at a spa supermarket. Funny enough, your brother was my manager. He was a great night manager. Taught a lot, learned a lot from him.
Shout out, Manna.
Shout out to Manna. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, this can't be it. Spa supermarket, surely I need to get into something. I'm studying law. I'm studying commerce. Society's told me surely I can easily get a job. Finally got a job at a law firm in the city. And very negative conversations. Like, it just didn't fit my personality. Like, you're disputing constantly with people going up against one another, going up against family, criminal law, family law. It's very toxic and very negative, and no one's getting excited dealing with you because they know that every minute that they spend on the phone with you, no matter how happy or excited you are to speak to them, they know they're getting charged. So they wanted that phone call to pretty much come to an end.
So you finish your degree, you go to work at a lawyer company, and you're thinking, I can't do this.
Well, through uni, it was work, like finding the right job. So law firm, and lasted there, I think I was there for a couple of years. Not for me. then I was like, you know what, I'll try the other side. Accounting was my major in commerce.
Yeah, they go.
I worked for a year. I was doing part-time uni. Oh no, I was working, part-time uni and full-time work at the accounting firm. Oh man, very, very negative in terms of walking through into this office in the city. Nice building. I was very excited. Honestly,
You thought this is it.
This is it. In the bus, I actually remember the first trip that I did, I was actually crying on the bus. I was like, I think maybe I've cracked it. My family would be so proud of me.
I want to be an accountant.
It could be it. Even though through school, the funny thing is accounting was my worst subject. But somehow I ended up working for an accounting firm. I got that excited, but obviously after a year of, late nights and working on tax returns, sounds very like boring and plain. But you walk into your office space and then you just like, good morning, Bill. Good morning, Charlie. Sit down at your desk and that's it. Tax returns. My personality is like complete opposite to that. Actually, in that accounting firm, like because of, I don't know, everybody loved my character, but I wasn't passionate enough about, the job that I almost sort of was a little bit shunned in a way because it just didn't because I didn't.
So the environment was all right? The people were good?
The people were nice, but obviously not as exciting. Obviously working at MAD, obviously it's a completely different environment, but I think that's pretty standard corporate environment. You don't have music pumping through the speakers. You go in there, everyone's just doing their own thing. And again, that's pretty normal, I guess, in that corporate world. But again, it just didn't fit me or fit my personality. So that's when I ended up going completely U-turn and I ended up going to work for a telecommunication company.
A tradesman.
A tradesman. So there I am from, moisturized hands to working on the tools. No idea what was going on, but because I was so loyal, trustworthy, I was a hard worker, I was passionate about the job because I loved working with the people that I was with. But then after a couple of years, and this was a common sort of conversation that I was having with my manager at the time, who's also a good friend, and I said, this can't be it. It actually, the turning point in my life was when I was sitting up on top of a air conditioning unit and I was using metal zip ties, and they're such a pain in the ass to get on.
I've never even heard of a metal
zip ties. That you can only use that on towers, and slicing my hands up, and my hands were bleeding. And that's when I absolutely lost it. I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life? And my boss was laughing. He was like, just relax. Like, everything happens for a reason. Something good's going to happen. And he was right. So what I did was, that's when I started trying to find a job in a bank. That's where, I don't know, finance, because I studied a bit of finance. I knew law wasn't going to be it. And then that's obviously when I called up, I was trying to find out how to get a bank job. And then I think I spoke to Costa,
my wife,
your wife, family friend, said, just talk to George.
And that's when I met you. And that's when you asked me to get a job in a bank. And I said, what's your favorite color? And you said, why? I said, well, do you like red? I'll get you a job at NAB, or yellow, I'll get you a job with CBA.
Yeah.
And at the time, that was a long time ago, I wasn't employing people with no experience. I was getting people from the banks.
Yeah.
But I did have some inspiration to get some interns. Yeah. And it was you, and meeting you and talking to you, I saw something in you. Yeah. And I also saw something in Chris, if you remember.
Yeah.
Chris Sewell, shout out, who also started at the same time. You were my first two official interns.
Yeah. And I think that's where the reason why I was so frustrated is because I knew I was destined for more than, obviously, I knew I had the right personality, and I had the right core values. I knew I had I have a good heart, just the way that my family's been brought up. I got a good work ethic because of our upbringing, coming from, I guess we call it, some people, the proper term is like intergenerational trauma is what they call it, right? That was a fancy word that popped up a few weeks ago. I never heard of it. But it's essentially from, our parents who fled the war in 1974 from Cyprus to try and find a better life in a different country. And not that I struggled, right? Because I lived in a beautiful household. We lived in a home. We still went on couple of holidays here and there. We had food on the table, but you sort of, what I used to do was put up the photos of like my grandfather up on the wall, on the door. So every time I went to leave my room to start the day, I would have pictures of my grandfather in the farm, like, you know, working the truck or whatever, or in the refugee camp. And I was like, all right, well, you know, if they somehow pulled it off and were able to create something beautiful here in Australia, well, surely I've got an even bigger opportunity to make something work. So that's why I was, I guess, disappointed in myself that I couldn't find something that I was passionate with, or I wasn't getting anywhere.
So you had a vision for your life. If you saw that your parents, before you were immigrants to this country and they had made something from themselves,
yep,
you thought, hang on, I've been born in this beautiful country. I've gone to school. I've did the university, and I didn't like it. And then I went from accounting to a lawyer to tradesman, and you're sitting, hang on, you're getting frustrated with yourself. Yep. You're going, oh, I'm destined for something good.
Yep. And I don't regret working in any of those firms, because it was the reason why I ended up in this job. And what
a great takeaway for people though. If you're watching this and right now you're doing a job that you don't like, you had gone to a fair few different industries before you found the right one.
Yeah. I think that's probably the advice sometimes I give to youngsters, especially when they're still single, they're not in a relationship, they're not tied to commitments, like they don't have kids, for instance, because normally that's what ties you down to one job, is because you need to keep putting, you know, food on the table for the little one. Is that when you've got that opportunity earlier on in life, if you're not happy in a particular industry, well, then maybe you do need to switch it up a little bit. And I really do think that the profession that you take on is tied to your personality.
100%.
We do personality tests, right?
Yep.
If your personality test is, you know, comes in with a bit of red, we know that a bit of red mixed in with a bit of blue, you know, using a bit of fire with logic, like it might mean that you should be in potentially like a sales job or something where it's high, you know, high pressure, high paced. Like you can sort of see the people who are high performers, their legs shaking and they're constantly trying to run around and their mind's running a million miles an hour. Also, some personalities, I like talking to people, whereas other people prefer to just talk, I don't know, just stay in the one room and not talk to anybody, lock themselves up, and they just plug in and, you know, just work on one file at a time. You know what I mean? Like, you know, a barrister, he'll normally be potentially lock in and read shitload of documents.
That's the opposite of someone like me.
Can't do it.
You know,
even though I did law and I had to do it.
But that shows you're persistent, which is a key strength of successful people, persistence. But let's see what you've done in 6 years, mate. So you went from finishing your degree, being a little bit lost, which is fine. I was there once before as well. A lot of people watching this are probably feeling the same. But once you found what you were put on this earth for, which you well and truly found what you were put on this earth for, being a mortgage broker at MAD, helping the people, in 6 years you've bought multiple properties, over $6 million of real estate. You've helped probably 1,000 plus people buy real estate. You don't tell me about you coming to work. Is it a drag? Tell me honestly what it's like.
No, it's because this job fits my personality perfectly. You actually get excited to come to work, which a lot of people don't understand, right? But also what makes it even better, because maybe if it wasn't at let's just say MAD, if it wasn't for MAD, I don't know if I would have ended up going into somewhere else as a mortgage broker. This place sort of fits fits my core values, but also it's definitely the people that are in it. So you got to surround yourself with the right people. And sometimes you actually need that one person in your life. That might be your dad or it might be your friend. Like for instance, with you're the driver behind making decisions of buying property. My personality is not so much like to make those massive decisions of just going for it, where sometimes you need that bit of somebody to back you and say, "No, you've got it," and then you go for it. So surrounding yourself with the right people had a massive impact on my life. Otherwise, if I continued to surround myself with, some old school friends that didn't have that drive or that motivation or that heart, then you're probably just going to end up in a situation where, you can't take your kids to private school, or you can't, put food on the table, or constantly that financial stress and which leads to.
So Costa, what I'm hearing, is you've always visioned to have a good future. You wanted to send your kids to private schools, live in a nice house, be financially free, yeah?
Yep.
You always wanted that.
Yep.
You've always been persistent. You got through a degree of law and you don't even like reading.
Yep.
But I think the formula to your success is you found what you love. You found an organization which 100% aligns to your core values as a human.
Yep. And
you found the job which you're passionate about. What other recipe for success is it? Would you say you're lazy, mate, or would you say you're a hard worker?
No, definitely a hard worker. I've always the way that I've done things, with jobs is like leading up to Matt. Obviously, I was single, so but in my mindset, I was like, one day I will have kids and a family. So I'm not trying to bust my ass now that I've got a wife and a future kid. I was acting as if like I would have financial pressures like way earlier in life.
So this is in your 20s, right?
In my 20s,
How important was it in your 20s to make some of those decisions, some of those properties you bought working hard?
Well, I've got to thank my past self, because now that I do have, a wife and I'm, living expenses and all that, well, you sort of, you thank yourself for what you did in the past, because now I don't have to ramp it up even harder to provide for the family, because I already ramped it up from years back.
So the decisions you made in your 20s has changed your life.
Yeah. Even not even my 20s. In the lead up through school and stuff, always made good financial decisions. So I never went and spent stupid money on random things or nice clothes.
You respected money.
I respected money. And you respect it even more when you become a broker, because you watch people and how they can be, financially stressed, or, I really need to buy another home to give to my kid when he grows up because the property market's going to be crazy.
There's two takeaways I need to quickly say. You got to respect money, or money won't respect you.
Yep.
And that's a trait which the younger you are and you learn that, the better off you'll be. And the decisions you make in your 20s can set you up for life. Like I remember vividly being in the back container, and you were shit scared, and we bought that double block on Mons Road for $860,000.
And I was freaking out. Yeah.
Freaking out, mate. You were freaking out. And that's now worth $2 million plus. I remember another property you bought at Tarragindi. Now, you were at a Bucks party, and I was there bidding on your behalf. And I can't remember what you paid for. How much did we pay for that one?
1.27.
For another double block.
And
all you buy is double blocks for some reason.
And we were freaking out the whole time. And there was, a bit of like, for me, I get a bit of buyer's remorse. Like, shit, did I overpay? Could I have paid a little bit less? But then after a few years, then
now that's a $2 million property as well.
Well, you thank yourself. You look back and you say, thank God I made the decision.
And they were both in your 20s.
Yep. Yeah.
And then you bought something the other day for another $2 million. But you couldn't have done that. And that's your family house now. It's a special house.
Yep.
And you couldn't have bought that family house without those first two stepping stones.
Correct. Yep.
So it's very important to work hard, respect money.
Yep.
And some of the decisions you make in your 20s sets you up for your life.
Correct.
And it's also important, like you said, to find what you love.
Yep.
Because if you don't find what you love, you're not going to put 100% into it.
No. And I think that with the whole respect money, so look, the issue at the moment is social media. Everybody's driving around a sports car. Everyone's going on constant holidays and this and that. And I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest takeaway is, unfortunately, I think a lot of people just assume that is the life of everybody around them. Like growing up, I used to look at people driving around sports cars or living in a nice suburb.
In this job, we know
the truth.
We know the truth, and the truth of the matter is the person driving the sports car is probably leased.
Yeah.
And they probably don't even have any assets. If they may have an asset, but they haven't got property. Look, I'm not going to take it away. There's people who are successful with nice stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who are successful don't have nice stuff as well.
And that's why you've got to respect your money, because for me, even the first car I bought was $10,000, right? And then I ended up actually selling it, and I drove around the little Mad Mini, bright green, blue Mini for like 4 or 5 years of my life. I
remember.
And then I ended up buying a little Hyundai after that when it kicked the bucket. So those decisions of trying to save money on I could have bought a sports car easily, right?
Costa, you could be driving a Lamborghini right now.
And now what I drive, you give me shit all the time.
You do need to upgrade your car. your car is a hybrid Toyota or something.
Hey, it's beautiful.
It's fine, but
it gets me from A to B.
Tell me, why don't you drive a Lamborghini?
But those decisions of not buying that or buying all the fancy stuff, or I still went away on holidays, did the boys trip, the standard Europe boys trip, or, still got away here and there and didn't cut back my life. But I still, those massive decisions of buying assets that depreciate so quickly, like even just hearing my, 18-year-old, 19-year-old cousin saying, I want to buy a Mercedes. If you buy that Mercedes, it's going to put you back 5 years. Like seriously, those are the easy decisions that people can make not to continue upgrading their cars and just live a modest life. And by doing that, I'd rather much do that than have that financial stress.
Define success to me. What's success for you?
Well, having your household in order, so your family, of course, and followed by faith first, family, and then lastly is being financially free.
And what's financially free to you? Is it going to Woolies and going, we could buy whatever we want here? Is it going to go back to your Greece or Cyprus, every year if you wanted to? Is it sending your kids to private school, or is it a Rolex and Ferraris?
No, so success definitely doesn't have any materialistic objects involved, right? Never looked at it like that, especially because of my upbringing. That's just how my parents, I guess, got through it and was able to buy investment properties and help us get through school. What's success for me is, being able to not have nightmares at night about being able to make mortgage repayments. That is being able to go to Greece, once a year for a month or two.
Yep.
It's not, I think some people it's, go to and permanently live on the Greek waters on a yacht, right? But and be retired, but we're destined for more than that. It's actually to stay here and continue to help people. So it's, for me, it's the couple of months or the month in Greece, and it's being able to live in a paid off owner occupied property and to have whatever else, if it is a resi or a commercial property, to keep that cash flow coming in. But also making sure that your family is still strong and tied together, and money not to get in the way of that as well. Yep. So being able to go to Woolworths, not have to stress about saving that extra dollar. Not really thinking about.
And you are already at that level, Costa, and I'm proud of you for it. And you're smashing it, and you truly are living the best version of yourself. And tell me, who or what gave you permission to dream bigger, or did you have to give that permission to yourself?
I didn't, in my head, when growing up, it wasn't sports cars, right? It wasn't multiple properties. It's literally just being able to afford in a good suburb to buy a family home. That's it. I just wanted to live in Carindale. I always dreamed about it.
Carindale.
And
where you born?
in Carindale. That's what blows my mind, is that growing up I was like, never be able to achieve that, right? That was my ultimate goal. But
how does it feel though, now that you've done that? Honestly, have you thought about it?
I haven't actually taken the time to sit back. I was meant to come to your house for a scotchy and actually sit.
We need to celebrate that.
It hasn't settled yet, and it settles in like 3 weeks' time.
Well,
so
when that happens, we'll have a cigar and a whiskey celebration.
So that is ultimately where I wanted to be. In terms of other property, I just somehow fell into it because, I'm surrounded by it, but also having the right people to tell you about it. Like I would. If I wasn't in this industry or having the right people to guide me, like we're trying to do here, is I probably would have had just one property. I'd be lucky to have one property.
So let's use you as an example. Let's try and help the people. All right. So because of what we do here at Mad, and you can see how it works and how buying real estate gets you ahead, and you've seen it with your own eyes, with your clients, and now yourself, and you've achieved the dream that you had when you were a kid. You've got it. You've got 3 properties over $6 million.
Now,
your house in Carindale, and you're 31. Yep. All right. What do you want to tell people who are aspiring to try and be the same? If they're watching this podcast, what do you want them to take out of this?
Save your money.
Save your money.
Surround yourself with the right people.
Surround yourself with the right people who are walking the walk that you want to walk.
Yep. And find a job that suits your personality.
Find what you're passionate about.
Become a weapon in that.
So work your ass off.
Work your ass off in that, because I feel like a lot of people now are doing bibs and bobs, what do they call it? Jack of all trades. But our most successful clients are the ones that, well, funny enough, they don't work in the corporate world. They're, you're building a pest inspector, or your electrician, your plumbers. One of them was, I heard a ridiculous number for a client who does roofing. He just replaces terracotta tiles and roofing. So they're obviously
It's fine what you're passionate
about.
But then they're hard workers.
And they go hard in it.
We've done billions of dollars of loans. Anyone successful, were they lazy?
No.
They always worked hard. No. And they respected their money.
Yeah.
And they were passionate about what they did.
Yeah.
What are the tips?
Respected their money. That's so important, especially for people watching this. And I have to say the same thing, because social media is just getting so much more attention now, is that I guess respect your money. Don't spend your money on crap. All right. Save it. And also, I think a lot of people need to realize as well that if you're in the property market and you have a property, you've got to give yourself a pat on the back as well if you've achieved that. Because I feel like a lot of clients are, again, comparing themselves with other people on social media, and they say, oh, we've only got one property. We don't have a second, or how do we get up to 10? Otherwise we're not successful. You've bought a property. Like it's a great Australian dream.
You're in the 66% of Australians now. The other 44% rent.
Yeah. And then if you buy a second property, it's top 20.
Top 20%.
So some people
only 10% of Aussies have 3 properties.
Yeah.
Only 10% of Australians have 3 properties. You got 3 properties, you're top 10% of property owners.
So I think people also need to realize that it's not all sunshine and rainbows as well, of, people running around with multiple properties and a whole heap of cash. It's basically, I guess, you just focus on one step at a time of acquiring your family home or your first investment property.
And it doesn't have to be your third property was your ideal house.
Yeah.
Your first house is it's going to be a stepping stone.
A stepping stone. That's it.
So I like your story, Costa, because your story has got a fair bit of failures.
Yep.
As in terms of you were persistent in your past uni, but it was not the right decision for you, but you learned from it.
Yeah.
And you used it to your benefit.
Yep.
And you've told so many people. I've heard you inspire other people. Like, if you don't like what you're doing, just change.
Yep.
And you were 25 when I first met you, and that's when you found what you love. Yep. And when you find what you love and you work hard, look what happens.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. That's inspiring.
People go their whole lives, I guess, trying to find what they're passionate about sometimes, or, just stick in the same job for the rest of their lives and that they're not happy with. But I guess that's the beauty of a bit of trial and error, or look, we're not just saying it to the young folk, in their 20s who are single. Try to find what you're passionate about, even if you are, do have a mortgage, you've got a family, and you're trying to figure out, I guess, where you belong. Well, I don't know. Is there you can switch it?
Look at Colonel Sanders, mate. That bloke didn't find an established KFC until the guy was like 70.
Yep.
So many people have had success later in life, but ultimately they all had the same thing in common, which was they found their passion.
Yep.
So you're never too old to try and find that passion.
Yep.
And I think you'd be miserable if you're not doing what you love. Your inspiration, Costa. You're one of Australia's top mortgage brokers. You're so young. You're crystal clear in your vision. Family and faith and financial freedom is some of the core values of you, and you've got a beautiful wife of Maria. You've got financial freedom, and you've also very faithful, and so you're winning. Yep. And you're trying to help as many people as you can because you've done it. You walk the walk yourself now. Yep. Like I did to you with helping you push to buy your properties. I know you're pushing other people to try and change their life as well. I hear it every day from your clients, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm very grateful to have you on the show, mate.
Thank you, man. I think the takeaway point, or just to finalize it, is it's not just finding about what you're passionate about. It's you got to understand what your purpose is in life, right? My purpose is to help people buy property, right? If you actually even just like AI, like Maria, right? She typed in AI, what's my purpose as an architect? It actually tells you, you know, the church story. You're not just designing like concrete and wood or whatever. You're actually designing a place for people to work from, and you bring excitement as they walk in.
Look
and
at
you design
Demetriou. Look what he does. Look what he's designed for us.
If you don't believe that, if you believe in your job and your purpose in life, then you'll live a much happier life knowing that you're giving back to society. You're contributing to society. So people actually need to understand that, or believe in what they're doing is you know, there is purpose.
My architect, Danny Zullo, doesn't see himself as an architect. Look at the house he designed. He designed my dream house. He designed our dream office. He has got so much passion for his industry. Yep. We all can feel it when we're around the guy.
Yep.
And I know you feel the same. When you're in a meeting, mate, you get that feeling of helping people, like the church story. I think that's the best point.
Yep.
That's what you've got to lose out on if you don't find what you're put on this planet for, your why.
Yep.
Your why is so important.
Yep, that's it. Write it down. Put it on a piece of paper.
Yeah. My why is simple as trying to help as many people as I can.
Yep.
The more people I can help, the better off I'll be. And I feel extremely fulfilled doing that.
Well, we've been given these personality traits, these strengths to help as many people. It'd be a shame if you went and, I don't know, locked yourself up in an office on a computer and didn't speak to anybody. You were destined to go out there,
preach,
go to schools, educate kids, educate people. It's the same thing with me, jumping in boardrooms, doing the best that I can to guide as many people as possible with the right intention. And that's my purpose. That's what I was made for. So that's why I've been gifted these gifts, and I've obviously got to use them, right? So it's the same thing with people listening to this, is figure out, well, what are your biggest strengths? Do your pros and cons list that you normally do. What are your pros? Like, what are you good at? What are you bad at? Maybe that's the way of just trying to figure out where you sort of need to be.
Just so we're clear, Costa, you're one of the top brokers in Queensland, Australia. You've been broking for how many years?
I think it's 5 years now.
And you have got a property portfolio worth over $6 million. You come to work every day. You're motivated. You're full of energy. You believe in what you're doing. You're passionate. How do you stay top of your game?
It's, all right, people would say, yep, fitness, go to the gym, whatever. But you're always, if you surround yourself with, for example, you or Tia or my brother, all these people with that right positive mindset. I mean, every day it's not sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes there's your hard days or whatever. But I think that's what keeps me on that straight and narrow. Other than obviously it's in my core, like you got to work hard, and from my past experiences and my family where they came from, but also you stay accountable by we keep each other accountable. Basically, if for example, I don't know, maybe I'm exhausted or something, and I look at you, you might say, "No, turn it up, ramp it up."
So you reckon that it's a big impact having positive, energetic people around you?
Well, positive, energetic people, you need to have. That's why we do our pod catch-ups or our team leader catch-ups. We do one-on-ones.
I do leadership training with you once a month. We do leadership training with Coxie once a month.
The big one is the feedback. Constantly giving me feedback.
Always giving
I might still be, one of the top brokers, but I still cop it all the time of like, nope, you can do better there.
Let's continuously try to improve.
Yep. I never get comfortable with, I'm just, we're doing great in this industry. There's always ways.
Forever learning. Kaizen is in our blood here. So you reckon if you were hanging around 90% of the people around you were negative and not achieving anything, do you reckon you would be where you are today?
I probably would. Again, it's in my core. I probably would have pushed past it and try to find somewhere else where I belong. But the whole journey hasn't been like,
But not okay. I get it. we're not like that here. But if someone's watching this and they are working in an environment where 90% of the people aren't energetic, pushing for the best in people, believing in you, bringing you up, is it hard?
It makes things harder. That's why you've got to align yourself with people that have that mindset. Like, who do you look up to? Do you look up to somebody who drives around a Lamborghini but has a shit relationship with his family, or somebody that is money driven but not faith driven? Or you just got to align yourself with people that have a similar mindset. And for me, it is, I've got my cousins, I've got you guys, I've got my family who all have a similar mindset. It's not driven by materialism. It's just driven by literally just faith and trying to do the right thing. And then the rest comes with it. Like, the properties come with it just because you're working hard, you've got the right intentions, you're trying to do the right thing, you're surrounding yourself with good people. I mean, then the I don't know, everything else just flows through. And you just got a bit of trust and trust the process.
Got to trust the process, mate. Takes longer than you think. You got to start from the bottom and work your way up, and you got to trust the process. A
lot of people overestimate what they can, what can be achieved in a year, and underestimate what can be achieved in 10 years.
That's a cracker quote. 10 years, you can change your life.
Yep.
You've changed your life in 6. In 6 years, you completely changed your life.
Yep.
And you're only 31 years old.
Yep.
What's going to happen in the next 6 years? You look how much his life has changed in 6 years.
Yep.
From finishing uni and going to different jobs, and then starting here. He's got 3 properties. He completely owns his craft, fucking smashes it, loves what he does, married. Your trajectory is ridiculous because we're 31. Well, I'm not 31. Yep. You're fucking 31.
Yeah.
It's true the way.
Yeah.
That's the power of finding what you love and in the tribe that you're a part of.
Yeah.
The power, and then going hard at it. That's the power of that.
Yeah, and I say this all the time. Even if, I don't know, for some reason brokering was cut, was no longer happening.
We're going to open up a fish and chip shop and kill it.
That's all we
wouldn't do it. We'd get into real estate the next day.
Yeah. But we'd still with the right people, we'd make something cool happen. You know what I mean? So I say it all the time.
You know what I love about you, mate, is you started off as my intern, and I ended up as your best man at your wedding, and that for me is one of the proudest moments of my life, and it shows the love and respect you have for me, and you know that I love and respect you, and I had a belief in you from when I first met you,
and that's why. See, if your core values didn't align with me, like if I saw that there was I always say there's some underlying evil or something like very money driven and didn't give a shit about family or whatever, then this relationship wouldn't have worked. Because in my head, that's a type of leader I look up to, is somebody who has the right core values and puts, their faith and family first before their business.
That's so important for just so people know. That's a big thing in your mantra, your life. You need to follow someone that you love and respect.
Correct. That's it.
And then so you need to allow someone to lead you.
Yeah.
Because you don't know all the answers. You're 25.
Well, some of these young people, they look up to people driving around in their Lamborghinis and gold chains and stuff like that. But maybe the person you should really be looking up to is like your dad, who busts his ass all the time but still has a beautiful family, home. Or your uncle or a family member or a friend that is not ridiculous.
The sad thing is, because a lot of people watching this don't have anyone to look up to.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know anyone who's done it. You saw your parents immigrate in the 74 war in Cyprus and make something of themselves here. And they bought a nice house. But a lot of people watching this are in rent cycles. And they don't know how to get out. And that's why I want to do this podcast. I want to inspire people that anyone can change their life. Like the last podcast I did was with Eddie. The guy was an Afghanistan immigrant. Came here. His family rented 7 people in a townhouse. And now the guy's got $7 million of real estate. Change his life. Anyone can. Me and you know that. And we're not just saying it. We're actually doing it and helping others do it.
Yeah.
Lockie James, 18 years old, bought his first house. He can do it. Anyone can do it. Alex, because he works in this environment under your leadership, the kid bought a property last week for 19 years old.
Yep.
That's not normal. Average age of an Aussie is 36.
Yeah.
And for 44% of Aussies, they never get to buy.
Yeah.
It's possible for anyone.
Yeah.
They just got to align themselves with like-minded individuals, like you said, like you've done, like I've done my whole life. When I had negative people in my life, I had to cut them out. In my 20s, there was a fair bit of cutting. I had to surround myself with positive people because I had this ideal version. I am living the ideal version of my life right now, and I thank God for it every day.
And we fight for it, eh? Like there's always other people that even when I first started MAD, like there were people saying, like when I first started, I was on a low income and it was a completely different environment, but I was passionate about it. But everybody, even my parents, why are you not a lawyer?
That I haven't got an accent like that.
Yeah, but for how many years I had to just persuade them, no, this is where I'm meant to be. Just trust the process. The amount of people I just had to ignore and I just plugged in late nights, whatever, with Chris Sewell, just trying to, just power through it. And then thank God I did, and I didn't listen to anybody, and I just stuck to it. And then I can
look at you now.
Now I can look back and say, thank God the younger Costa just stuck it out.
Yeah. It takes longer than you think, doesn't it?
And we fight hard to keep the negative things out, create a little positive bubble, as we call it.
We have created a positive bubble in this place.
Yeah. Here and at home as well. Oh. And there's always people who try to pop it. No. But we've got our...
No matter what happens in life, mate, and life sometimes deals you some pretty shit cards, you got to look at the good things in life. Yep. You got to look at the positive things that happened in your life. Of course, it's okay to be sad. That's normal. But you have to look at the things that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
Costa, that was one of the best podcasts ever.
Really?
You smashed it. You're a beautiful human, and you're so young, and you give so much, and I'm very appreciative to have you part of it.